How we doing, everyone? Welcome back to another edition of FSi's NASCAR DFS Pick Show. I'm your host, TK Nation 47, joined with Mega Ruler 31. Mega, good evening, and pretty cool. We got Xfinity qualifying the night before.
Yeah, yeah, we actually can do videos for both races this weekend, so that is pretty cool. Good to have you back too, safe and sound.
Yes. Pretty rough weekend with the boys for the bachelor party. We survived a couple of breweries downtown, a couple of disappointing Browns moments, but we fought through it. But yeah, we got the Guardians, so we're doing all right. Um,
Unfortunately, our single female viewership has dropped since the announcement that you're getting married.
you've been sitting on that one, haven't you? Well, that's a bummer. We like all viewers to view the show and follow along with us on our journey. And we're so close to the end, guys. We have only a couple of races left. This is the start of the final eight for the Xfinity and the Cup video for their playoffs. So I want to run down the playoffs just real quick and talk about what we're looking at.
Um, Allmendinger and Gregson have won a lot of races recently,
Yeah.
so they are comfortably ahead, but not completely untouchable. If they botch all three races, mathematically, they could be out of
Sure.
it. Most likely, they're going to be into the next round. Um, a win and you're in, so a weird scenario would be that three of the guys in the playoffs win and either Allmendinger or Gregson have to fight for points in the final race. Don't think
Sure.
it's going to come to that.
No.
Um, so next we have Gibbs and Allgaier, who are somewhere 11 to a couple teens like points above the cut line. Then we have Hill and Josh Berry, who are about like 11 to 16 points below the cut line.
Hmm.
And we have Sam Mayer and Brandon Jones, who have some work to do. They're
Yeah.
about 20 to 30 points below the cut line. So probably need some catastrophes or to win here.
Yeah. I'm thinking wins and strong gains, in like stage points and stuff like that from, Hill and Barry. So, yeah, it's pretty obvious who the top four cars are in this series. But you never know, and any one of these guys can come away with the victory. So, we had practice before we had qualifying. That was really cool. I got a chance to watch a little bit of that. So I have uh, some insight into how some of the cars are feeling for some of these drivers. I got a lot of interviews in, so feeling pretty good about the slate actually, and I'm excited to get it going. So let's start with the top. AJ Allmendinger, our pole sitter, won last spring, correct?
No.
Last year, I think, last spring.
Maybe last spring, yeah, potentially. I don't know. I looked up fall. This spring, Ty Gibbs stole it but the JGR cars have been. He's colleague. So
Yeah,
colleague has been okay here. The Gibbs cars have been a little bit slower, but the junior motorsports cars have been the class act here. They
yeah,
probably should have won it if it wasn't for a late caution in the spring, and they finished 1, 2, 3 last fall with Barry
that's
winning
what.
it. So
Yeah, last spring.
Allmendinger, I like him here. His track average is for these types is fifth. Spring he was the ninth, but I just don't really see this colleague car being out there and dominating. I think these junior motorsports get up there and get past him. So I have him as a GPP because I think he starts first, but I don't think he gets out there and leads a lot of laps. And this is, if I recall, is like one of those laps where they can really fan out like 4, 5, 6 wide at the start,
Yeah,
and really like try to jockey for position. But after that, it's kind of hard to pass. Correct?
I think so. I know for sure when you're coming to the finish line, you're basically on the apron.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so I don't know. It's a wild ending. I know that for sure. Especially if you got cars in tight at the end on like a green white checkered. I know the final turn is always something to watch for Las Vegas. But I like Allmendinger for GPPs. He wasn't the best car in practice. But certainly, dialed it up, and they've dialed it up in qualifying perfectly. I remember them doing that early on in the year. Allmendinger winning a couple of poles. So the race trim's not always the best part of the colleague car. So I could see GBPs just in case, hey, he gets out in clean air and he dominates. But I'm with you. I'm focused a little bit more on a few of these cars behind him. We'll start with Trevor Bayne, who was a really good car in practice, really good qualifying lap. Had a poor result in the spring, but your thoughts on the 18?
He wasn't in the car in the spring. The result was based on, I think it was like Sam Smith or somebody.
Oh, Ryan Truex.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. So, but Bane, like he's been like really good every single race he's won. This is the All Star
Mm-hmm.
car here for Gibbs. I think again it's going to be a step below the junior motorsports cars, but Bane's really trying to get back into a permanent
Yeah,
situation
he's trying to
after
prove
having
himself.
time off here, and he's just a really good driver and really good equipment. So I think he'll do well, and I'm okay playing him in cash, and he might be the guy that gets out there and dominates early.
The one thing I thought of with Bane is he could be the car that if Gibbs gets out in front, he could be that number two car that's throwing blocks, making the third car, try to work as hard as they possibly could, being like that great teammate and showing those teams like, hey, I'm here to be a good teammate. I'm also a good driver. I can, do the things that are asked of me to get a full-time ride. So if the scenario plays out where Gibbs is running second, I could see a world where Bane lets Gibbs get the front spot and then he plays that role of the intimidator with his son, that kind of old school, not letting anybody by him to watch his son win kind of thing. So that's my thought in theory. Your thoughts on that?
Um, did you follow the Cup news with Cole Custer where he got like penalized a ton of points because he was trying to be a good teammate and
That's so I don't
ridiculous. We,
I,
we
I
will
didn't get a
we'll go into the Cup video, but
yeah, I was gonna
what
say I
I
didn't get a
mean,
chance to
I
watch the
don't really
race
see
last week,
loyalty
but
here. He's like I don't really see loyalty. I think he wants to get out there and win. I think the win's more important than being a good teammate for him too. So yeah, we'll
all
see
right,
what
fair
happens.
enough. No, I mean it's just my theory, and it's probably
He
too
doesn't have to
overthought.
race for points either, so he can pit before
Yeah,
and get track position um, for the third stage. So
yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true. Gibbs here 11K. My God, that's a high price tag.
yeah,
Whew.
and it's based on number one in practice, but again, I just don't. And plus, like doing cup and thing, I just haven't seen the focus that he's had, previous when this was the
It's a
only.
decision.
Yeah, and it looks like Reddick is going to get bought out and be at 23-11. So well, we'll see what happens with Gibbs next year. Where he goes. Um,
Yeah. Yeah, I could easily see him replacing Truex. Well, that's the thing. I thought Truex was gonna retire and it would be Gibbs in the 19. Anyway,
have they
we're
filled
getting into
Kyle's car yet? Yeah.
um no, I don't think they have.
Hmm.
Oh gosh. Oh my God, they're gonna throw him in the 18. Um
Anyways.
Gibbs, yeah, gosh. This is a decision point in the slate. I feel like if you're running with Gibbs, I like the theory to run with Bain as well, because then you're going to have two teammates running together up at the front. But it's just so
I look at his
hard with those
track
price
average though,
tags.
and his 15th. This is just not his style either.
You're talking about Gibbs?
Yeah.
Yeah, he got pretty dang lucky in that spring race. Well, um, I don't know. Maybe we'll go with Gregson here. Talk me into Gregson
It's
over
his home
Gibbs.
track. He's from
Yes, yeah, he's
Nevada.
from Vegas. He's from Vegas. Yeah, he
So,
looked good in practice. He
yep.
looks aggressive in qualifying.
Second in the spring. I believe he was second or third last fall. So, he's definitely,
His
and he was on
recent
a
form
streak.
is nuts.
Yeah, Talladega is like a wild card race, and the Roval, he's decent on road courses, but he's not elite like AJ. Now we're back into his arena.
Yeah, he was first or second in both stages in the spring. He really dominated. So, okay, he's cheaper, like 200, but okay, so GP, I think you got it perfect up here at the top. You go with Gregson as your cash dominator, and then your GPPs are Ty Gibbs and Allmendinger, and then you fit
You
Bane
fit
in
Bane in, yeah.
where if maybe our, driver too. All right, next up we have Sam Mayer. Um, I don't know. He needs to win, right?
Yeah, and I think, he could definitely finish in top five with how strong these cars have been. But in the spring race, he is 25th. His track average is 10th. And I just think that he'll be pointing it and not have the track position. I think he'll, like, have a good finish, but it just scares me, like, his starting position here.
Yeah, starting position is a concern. He did run second in the first stage, third in the second stage in the spring race, but um yeah, he's going to need that top five for some upside here. I don't see any laps led, so might be a GPP to fade. Same with this next guy, Daniel Hemrick. Missed out
Just
on.
doesn't never gets out there and leads the races. Like he finishes usually top five, but that gets you like 1 point advancement plus the place points. But I just really don't like it. I think there's so much more potential with some of these other cars.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sold on Hemrick in the 11. Colleague, like I said, they can qualify, but you know, race trim's a different story sometimes in this Xfinity series. Next up, Brandon Jones, 8,800.
If I have to take a Gibbs car, I think this is the one. Like,
This is kind of the Brandon Jones track you want, right?
right.
Multiple grooves, mile and a half, slide jobs, all of it. This is kind of like his groove.
Yeah,
Now, it does he can definitely wreck. Well, we say that every week, but
true, right. But I like the price on him, and like I said, I think like again, it worries me because he's got a lot to do. That he might be out there
yeah,
point racing, but he might be so far behind in points that that doesn't make sense. They need to really gun for the win. So I think that might be the strategy here.
it's an
But again,
interesting play.
it all depends on what happens to the other competitors. If some of the other guys wreck, then they're
Hmm.
just going to be climbing that ladder and
Yeah,
just finish it. So I
yeah,
think he's cash viable just with like,
yeah.
but again, he's an option.
Price tag 8,800. It's
Yeah.
not bad for a playoff driver right now. Next up, Austin Hill, 9,400. I think you can go with him or Brandon Jones in this spot. I don't know. I don't feel comfortable with Hill
No,
at
he's had
Vegas.
bad current form recently. He was 31st in the spring race, 14th overall in like this track type. So I think he's starting a little bit too far forward here. He kind of scares me, and his teammates right with him too. And
I think
teammate
his teammates better at this kind of track.
he is, but he just has had such bad luck this year.
Terrible luck.
I just
Terrible luck. He is going to
But
have
it is
such a good
Vegas.
year next year.
It is
It's
Vegas.
yeah, yeah.
Maybe his luck will change.
You know, yeah, man, I like Sheldon Creed. He's made me a fan this year. I mean, I love watching his interviews. He's had some really good races with some really bad endings, just things he can't control. Um, yeah. So I like Sheldon Creed GBP. He's kind of like in that same vein. I'm just out here to try to win races and show people what I can do to continue to get, rides and stuff. So, I mean, he's locked in with Childress, but still, you want to try to you advance your career, but I like him a lot. 9K, not bad. Allgaier, 10-6. What's wrong here? Real quick before you go, practice was not good. They had thrown a lot of things at that car in practice, packing adjustments and stuff like that. And um, yeah, they didn't get out there till like a few minutes left after like a lot of major adjustments and ran okay. And then they obviously made a better qualifying lap, but there was a lot of adjustments made in practice. Your thoughts?
I think we'll be fine. Like he
Sure.
and Gregson were by far the fastest cars in the spring, so I
Hmm.
think maybe they tried that, realized it's not going to work here. They'll make the adjustments needed. Just his history here is really good. Fourth, overall, which is the tied with Gregson for the best average finish.
Hmm.
Once you take out like Rex and stuff, or like outliers so in the data. So I think he's gonna be hard to fit in.
Yeah.
I think that's why I have Josh Berry as a second prime car because I really want two of these junior cars and I like the place differential here. So, but
Hmm.
with Barry, I'm saving $700, and that goes pretty far in building a lineup.
Definitely. Next up, we have John Hunter Nemechek in the Sam Hunt Racing 26, 9,200. This was a top 5 car in practice. He got out early in qualifying before all of these stud drivers did, and he made the fastest lap for a very long period of time. Nemechek has a really good car. It's just, how do you can't, I don't know. Like, I think he's playable. I just don't know how you can click the button when you're trying to fit 2 or 3 of the playoff drivers, and then maybe, you know, I don't know, like, where does he fit in your strategy this weekend?
Because he doesn't have to. He like Bane doesn't can go for the win. Like he doesn't have to worry about points or
Mm-hmm.
playoff or anything like that. And he was pretty fast. And
Really fast car.
he's the $1,200 savings on Bane with
Yeah, it's
almost
true.
10 more pieces of place differential there too. Like
Mm-hmm.
he top fives, and he's one that's not afraid to go out there and lead laps either, and
Yeah.
can probably get out there and lead laps. So yeah, I like him, and I want to try. I don't know if he's going to be in my main cash lineup, but I will definitely have some exposure to him.
He hung around about 8th to 12th throughout the entire race in the spring, from what I can gather. Um, so that's kind of where he's going to finish. I think somewhere in between 8 and 12. Does it work at 9,200?
Um, it all depends. Like if you
I guess so, yeah.
it it's going to bring your bottom guys up. So it might be the difference between Ryan Vargas
Hmm.
and, um, like a Bailey Curry, and,
Yeah, I mean, there you go. And I think you
or
hit the nail
or
on the
David
head.
Starr and like Bailey Curry. I think it's the better one. So
Yeah. I think you hit the nail on the head. Like, if you're in a 2v2 situation and John Hunter Nemechek gives you a better 6th punt driver over the Allgaier and or Bain 2v2, then I think you can feel comfortable knowing that Nemechek is somewhere in between 6 and 12, and he's going to get some type of plus points throughout the race. So there we go. Just broke it down. Now, tell us a little bit about Josh Berry before we start to get into the value section.
like I said, he won the fall race or not last year. He finished fourth here in the spring, and he's got some work to do, but he's not too far out, and I think he's definitely going to have a good day. Plus, he's got some place differential, top five. He's got seven, points right there baked in, kind of, and I
Yeah,
could see him leading this
I see a
race too.
top 5 here. Yeah. Not sure what happened in practice, why that number is the way that it is. I did not see him out on the track when I was watching. So maybe try to look up some practice notes and, um, you know, maybe I'll throw them in the comment section or something in case everybody's wondering. Ryan Sieg, 8,100.
He's
I don't know.
we like Ryan C when he's starting down more. Like, would it surprise us if he finishes in the top 15? But he's not really racing for anything.
Yeah,
And
he's in no man's land with the price
was
tag.
this the race early on where he Gibbs wrecked him, and then he tried to wreck Gibbs and ran into the wall? Is that yeah? Because he's finished 36th.
Yeah, it is. Wow. Good catch. Yeah, then Gibbs went on to win. That's freaking classic. He was leading at that race, wasn't he?
Yeah,
Oh my.
and he purposely tried to wreck him. He completely whiffed and just ran over the wall. Yep.
Oh, that is grand. I'm glad you remembered that. For me though, he's in no man's land with the price tag, and I'm going stars and scrubs. I think everyone's gonna, and I'm just gonna fall in line. It's just how be different in the guys from 1 through 12. I think here Sieg is just odd man out. Jeremy Commence 7,300.
I know you're say starting too far forward, but I think he's solid here in this
Yeah,
range if you can get into this range for cash, because he's got a good team. He's all his numbers consistently say
he
he
does
should
do well at this track.
he
I'll
should
say that.
finish in this around in this area.
Hmm.
And for 7,300, I mean that is enough, I think, to get it done.
Well, I mean, if one of these top 12 guys have an incident, or two or three of them wreck each other, and I think Clements is exponentially better than everyone from 15 through 37. So there's your story. Hey, someone in the top 10 here wrecks out. I think Clements is one of the better, value cars on the slate, and he gets place differential by default by making his, keeping his car clean, not getting any pit road penalties, anything like that. So there's a scenario on path. 7,300, not a bad price tag either. 8,300, we have Landon Castle in the 10 car, starting 15th. Your thoughts?
Too much disappointing season, other than like his in Cup, he's been good, but
Yeah. Hey, sixth here in the spring.
yeah, but like 18th overall. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't
Yeah.
know, like 83, a little too far forward GPP.
Mhm. Yeah, he's got a very low floor with a very high ceiling. It's the best way I can explain it. Stephen Parsons, kind of pretty crazy end of the season for Stephen Parsons in the
He's looked
45,
amazing, and these
isn't
Alpha
he?
Prime racing cars are like
He's
really
been good in the 45.
they're I mean they're like the top of they're getting to be like the top of tier two here.
Yep.
Obviously like the top ones are gonna be like Childress, Gibbs, and JR, but I think they're getting close to colleague.
I'd take Alpha Prime over our Motorsports
Yeah, oh
for
absolutely.
sure. For sure. 100 times over. And our Motorsports you could probably argue has the better drivers, but
Right.
their equipment's not as good as Alpha Prime. So I like Stefan Parsons. I don't know if I like him starting 16th. 6,600 though is
Yeah.
fair. I mean, if you land on him and you feel like, he's not going to kill me, I don't
And
think
if you look at that
he will.
33, I believe he was in a BJ McLeod car.
Hmm. He's
Um,
jumped around this year.
yeah. So like I wouldn't take that
Mhm.
his track average. Like he's in good equipment and he's looked good in this car. So
He was in the 99.
okay.
So I don't even see that car in this
No.
race right now. So there you go. Jeb Burton, 27 cars, starting 17th. I'm actually probably playing Parsons over and Caruth over Jeb Burton.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah. Yeah. Either one. Um, Caruth obviously doesn't have the, experience of Jeb Burton, but I trust Alpha Prime's equipment over our Motorsports. I mean, Burton's not a terrible play by any means, but I think ownership will be inflated on Burton in this area, and I rather just play Caruth and Parsons.
I agree.
Next up, we have JJ Yaley. No.
Yeah, he's turned too far forward. Like he's actually looked decent. Like
Mm-hmm.
the numbers, like say he's gonna like probably finish around where he starts, even at 6K. I think it's too risky.
Yeah, sure. I don't disagree. Hailie Deegan getting her first start in the Xfinity Series, put a really good qualifying lap, looked decent in practice.
That's because this is a Stuart Haas car. It's not
I
really.
had a feeling. I was like,
It's the
there's
same one like Cole Custer ran here, and that's why I have it as Stuart Haas. I mean, it's probably gonna come out and say that it's a green light, but there's no way. They're not gonna put.
4,800. I'm definitely playing her.
Yeah, yeah,
Car alone. It's not the driver I'm playing here. It's the car.
yeah.
She
And
keeps four wheels on the track.
it's a good.
4,800.
Yeah, it's a good crew and everything. Now, here's what she's gonna do. Same thing as truck. She's probably gonna go
Yes.
out there and learn and observe
Oh,
and
for sure.
yeah. So like, I think she finished in the top 25. I think she loses some spots if she does.
4,800 though?
Yeah, if she wrecks, I think it's not her
Sure.
fault. But
Well,
yeah,
if she wrecks, she ruins the lineup anyway, right? Whether it's 4,800 or 6K.
yeah, but a zero or like a negative like 13 at 4,800 is better than a negative 13 at like 10K. So
That's what I'm saying. At
yeah,
4,800, you can fit Gibbs. You can fit, you
yeah.
know,
I didn't feel safe enough to put her in cash just starting at 20th. Like if she was, man, if
I
she
think you
was,
could. I
I
think
don't know,
you could.
if she
If
was,
it gets you every lead lap and some place differential with Barry, there you go. I'm sold. It's gonna suck when she wrecks.
I really like Hailie Deegan,
I
but
know, I'm talking you into it.
I turned 20th though. I don't. It's
4,800. It's absurd. I'm
but I
for
would
the
rather
'07.
I would rather pay $100 more for Ryan Vargas
All right.
with the safety with the floor of not potentially losing. Like
What are the '07 Joe Groff Jr.? You know what? That's a
he
different '07, isn't it?
he got booted out of his car.
Yeah, this is a
It's the
completely
same car,
different
but
car.
Cole Custer's run this car. There've been a couple Cup guys who have like forward contracts who have come up and run this from Stewart Haas Racing. So I think Briscoe ran it maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, this is going to be a good car at 4,800. All she has to do is just keep four wheels on the track,
Okay.
and she'll finish 25th or better. And I think at 4,800, that's all you need. 15 to 19 to 20 points, and you get everything else. It's a good cash play, at least. Maybe not GBP for upside, but good cash play.
Okay.
Anthony Alfredo, no.
No.
Um,
GPP, but like
yeah.
not super excited about it.
7,900 is no. Hailie Deegan could beat Alfredo in raw points. Take the value out of it. That's all I have to say. And Nicholas Sanchez in the 48, 7,600. He's a decent driver for ARCA. I do see him out there sometimes on, early mornings, but
Everything's pointed to be like anywhere from like 25th to 30th though. So I just
yeah,
like
I'm
76.
nervous for him.
If he was 66, maybe I'd have him as
Sure.
GPP, but
And yeah, Jade Buford, not a better, maybe could be his equal in driving, and he did pretty poorly in the spring. Yeah, I'm with you. This is a fade because of the price. Myatt Snyder, I don't play him either.
yeah.
So both fades. Fade Alfredo, Sanchez, and Snyder. I think people are going to try to fit Sanchez into, and I think it's a mistake. Bailey Curry is a play.
Yeah, he's been solid recently. I mean, you got to take out the last two races because they were kind of novelty things with a super speedway and
Yeah.
a. But before that, like he's been almost averaging like a top 20. So
Yeah. Yep. Finished 18th. Yeah, he's going to go up, and I'm going to play him. He's going to be your upside GPP play in this position. 5K.
yeah,
My gosh, I already have my two favorite value plays, and we're not even into the bottom yet. This is awesome. Garrett Smith Lee, no, I don't ever play him.
yeah, yeah. He's a BJ McLeod car. It's going backwards.
Kyle Weatherman, they DraftKings have gotten hip to the price tag on the 34.
I'm okay with him as long as Jesse Winda doesn't sneak into his car on Sunday and he's out of the lineup, which could potentially happen. So
He looked okay in practice. I don't think the practice speed really told the story on the 34. He made some good runs.
he's a statue. He's going to finish where he starts.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Parker Retzlaff in our Motorsports 7,800,
I
the
know it's an R
O2.
Motorsports car, but this
This
car
was Moffitt.
was
This was
eighth in
Moffitt's car.
spring. It was eighth in Springwood Moffitt.
Mm-hmm.
He overall is 17th in this track type. I
He's
think
good.
he can definitely go up over like the four guys that we just talked about: Smith,
Mm-hmm.
Lee, Snyder, Sanchez, and Alfredo. So
Yeah,
I
he's
will.
he's he's good. Yep,
The
I'm with you.
price is a little hard, but I really like him here.
I think this would be the only play between 7,100, maybe 7,400 and 8,400 that I like, other than the guy we'll talk about later.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, I like Retzlaff. I like that kid. Josh Williams. At first, you would think no.
You want to know why he's cash?
Yeah.
Welcome back. He's back with DGM. That's where he
Oh,
was last year
little
until he got
reunion
booted.
tour.
And he ended up in BJ McLeod's car, and DGM realized that he the options that they've run this year have not been better than him. So now they're back together at least for now. So we'll see what happens next year. But
Yeah. I'd rather play Bailey Curry and Hailie Deegan over him.
absolutely. But he was 15th here in the spring. He's got 20th overall average here. There's a lot of good potential here at 5,100 for him in
Hmm.
this car.
Yeah. All
And he
right.
hasn't finished. Joe Graff has taken over his crown as the train wreck of Xfinity.
All right, cool. All right, yeah, I'm glad we got to get him back on track with his career. Mason Massey, the 91, he had a large tire rub in qualifying, but he actually practiced really well. This was another one of my favorite value plays. I like the 91.
Yeah, I think he's definitely a GPP here.
Mhm.
DGM's not a bad car, so
Yep. Once they figure out the tire rub that they had going on with the left rear, he's going to be just fine in the race. I think he's going to be a 10 plus point differential play for this race. So I'm in on the 91. Matt Jaskell, never,
hell no. He's gonna finish
never.
dead last. He might park this car. I don't even know if he's
Yeah.
gonna run it.
Yep. They do have a sponsor on the car though. I'm quite surprised. Chris Wright in the 68 Brandon built
Yeah,
motorsports.
Brandon Brown's not in the field anymore, so hopefully
No,
it's not due to injury. So
no, just gave his ride up. Didn't feel like racing. I'm
yeah,
hoping everything's all right too. Chris Wright didn't look that great in
no,
practice or qualifying.
I
Practice
think
was
it's
okay.
GPP, but I'm
Yeah,
not super excited.
yep, I agree. Jeffrey Earnhardt.
I know you don't like playing him, and he didn't look great in practice, but he usually ends up in the 20s here, so there is some upside to him. 63 is two is a little steep, so he's a
Yeah,
GPP, but I don't think he's a complete fade.
yeah, Joey Gase finished 22nd in this car in the spring, so maybe there's a shot for him. GBP, him and Chris Wright. Matt Mills, no thanks.
Yeah, if this car could finish second to last,
Mm-hmm.
right ahead of Jaskell.
Yeah. So both CJ McLaughlin and
He's going to
Kyle
finish third
Sieg.
to last.
Yeah. Both these Sieg cars are actually decent cars. They just had, for some reason, poor qualifying efforts. Sieg didn't even get on the track. CJ's all right here. I think he can finish inside the top 25, and I think
Sucks
that's
as a driver though, doesn't he?
huh?
Is he horrible?
They finished 24th here in the spring, but he was in the 28, not the 38.
Right. Yeah.
So maybe who was in the 38?
31st overall. Probably Kyle.
Kyle was in the 38, finished 16th. So they've swapped cars here. I don't know. I don't mind either one of them.
I'm not on
Um,
McLaughlin. Too expensive too.
what is he, 57? Yeah, kind of. All
200
right,
more.
Vargas. You like Vargas?
Uh, GPP if you need it.
I
He's
don't know.
uh, he's he can't go back very much further, and I think I know three cars are going to finish behind him. So it's going to be Star Jaskell and Matt Mills. So he I don't think he's going to fall down any further.
Yeah, I guess you can get him in cash if it really helps you get some of the studs. All right, Riley Herbst spun out in qualifying, top five car in practice, lock button.
Something's wrong here. Is he was he 38th or like what's the final order here?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's starting.
Dead last. Or was
No,
it
he's starting ahead of where the DNSs were.
okay?
I think you have it right.
Yeah, but one of these guys is 37, one is 38.
Yeah, Kyle Sieg is 38,
Okay, so
Stars 37, and then Herbst is 36. Yeah, so Sieg didn't start. He was the first one out on the track and he DNS'd, and then Star followed up, and then Hurst, top five car in practice, spun out in qualifying. He has a lot to race for. Mega, before the show, you had showed me their hauler wrecking or
yeah,
something.
yeah. Nobody's injured. Minor injuries. They took one of the guys in the for hospital for observation. They said that the hauler trailer was fine, so they sent a new rig and got it to the track, and the car was supposedly okay, but he did spin out. And the joke was that the hauler had the cup tires on it
Nice.
and blue one. Uh,
Yeah.
but
He's a lock button this week though.
yeah, I mean he's not. He's probably not going to lead any laps. He might not even finish in the top 10. But there's so much place differential with this driver and this car and this team
Mm.
that I would be surprised if Hailie Deegan eventually, if they like finally cut ties with him and like put.
Monster sponsorship. Yeah,
Yeah, that makes so much sense.
it would. All right, Star and Sieg. Sieg, yes, Star, no.
Exactly.
Okay.
Star again. I don't know. It's green light racing. I mean, they have raced most of the races, but David Starr's not good. Like 36 in practice. Like I don't see good things with that. And Kyle Sieg, I definitely think there's some upside here. He's not going to finish 38th.
Yeah, for sure. Alrighty, that'll wrap things up. Mega, thank you for your time this evening. Great work on the sheet, and as always, with the video content. Please like this video, comment below for all of the questions you guys out there have for us. You can follow him on Twitter at MegaRoad31. You can follow me on Twitter at TKNation47. Let's close the season strong, everyone. Enjoy tomorrow's race, and let's go.